I'm Tamara.
And I'm Andrew.
You guys have been asking, and finally, here we are. We're gonna try this whole YouTube thing. We have some pretty exciting stuff coming up, and we are excited to share it with you. To start off, so I'm an accountant.
And I'm an engineer, do product development.
But that's kind of boring.
We have been autocrossing since 2015. A lot of that time was in this car, a now DSP RX-8.
When we first started autocrossing, it was actually a date idea. And then I loved it and got hooked. We learned a lot of our car skills when we bought a Factory 5 818 kit. It's basically how we learned to do everything. It was our first time building an engine, about suspension design.
Learned to weld there. Not sure I would recommend learning how to build a motor with a long rod D-stroke boxer engine, but hey, it worked. A couple engines later, we actually did an inline 4.
Since we've been developing Riley, the RX-8 in the background, we've learned a ton about car setup.
And also done a lot of the development work on it. Did a full set of sphericals on it this past winter.
Some of our biggest accomplishments were winning DSP at the National Championships, and I won the Pro Finale in S1. As a result of all of that though, we've been kind of ready for a change and want to try something new. So one exciting thing that we had happen this year is I'm pregnant. We're going to be having a baby boy in April.
All of our friends have been asking us what we're going to do to make the trailer that we've already converted into a weekender living quarters more baby friendly. And we took a different approach.
Rather than getting a bigger trailer, we decided to get a smaller race car.
So, we had an opportunity to buy this B-Mod. Came up locally back 2 months ago now, and we jumped on it.
When we bought it, we knew this B-Mod was going to be a major project.
When we got it, we brought it home, unloaded it, started tearing into it to see what was going on with it. Found a couple fuel leaks, dropped a new fuel cell in, a fuel line.
The shocks were also completely toast. Let's get those sent over to Angelo at ANZ.
Did some quick safety checks on everything else, nut and bolted it, tightened a few. And we got it out. We decided to start with no or at least minimal aero on the B-Mod. We took the wing off for the first event and tried to just figure out the chassis. It's not truly no aero, there's still the diffuser present on the back, splitter, and it's a flat bottom car too.
The car was quite a handful. Our first event, we ended about 8 seconds off top packs, which is quite a lot different than we're used to having with the RX-8. But we knew we had quite a bit of work to do. Our first order of business to figure out what were the big ticket items.
We had relatively consistent overheating issues. If something is causing the system to burp a little bit of coolant out into the overflow, then you lose pressure, you have an air bubble in the system, and you're done. No amount of spraying, running the fan, anything could really keep up with it.
It was also 60 degrees. Not 100, like we're going to see next year. We definitely need a full rework of the coolant system. We have some pretty exciting ideas, thanks to some friends of ours that have gone through similar experiences.
The SCCA mod group is great for that. Lots of advice from friends. Currently, the front wing can't be installed. The previous driver was really tall. Pedal box had to be moved forward. Wound up getting in the way of the radiator. So the radiator got moved. That got in the way of the front wing mount. Kind of cascading changes, but that's one of the things to come this winter. Anyway, for the second event, we put the wing back on. We immediately dropped about 3 seconds. Run to run, same course.
And we're about 5 seconds off top packs. Still not great.
You know, there were spots where it felt like you couldn't really go any faster. You were already having trouble thinking you would make the element. And if you just mat it, get into the aero range, the car would stick and you could just get away with anything.
A crazy feeling, like the faster you go, the faster you can go. That being said, the handling balance, all sorts of bad. The rear wound up super stuck, the front didn't work anymore. Before we put the wing on, we had gotten the suspension balanced with the new shocks, actually working pretty well until we put that rear wing on. So even though it was 3 seconds faster, it was worse in many ways, which is kind of an interesting phenomenon. Another thing that came up was the differential. Inside wheel spin everywhere. We'd lift a tire, spin up, it'd land, snap oversteer, not good.
A lot of these cars run a torsion type diff, a quaif unit.
Yep,
So projects we have coming up this winter, we need to get some front aero on the car. Get cooling working. For the diff, trying to tame that wheel spin, we are going with an OS Geiken unit from Shaftworks, Jonathan Lugad. It's going to do a custom tune on it.
Andrew makes it sound easy, like, oh, we're just gonna buy an OS Geiken. What he really means is no one's ever ran an OS Geiken and a B-Mod before, and OS Geikens don't exactly come made for a motorcycle engine that's chain driven. we're gonna make an OS Geiken work. A whole lot of custom engineering, fabrication that's gonna be coming up in the next couple months, along with probably becoming close friends with Drive Shaft Shop.
We were going to go with an ND Miata unit. The back order was going to be at least 6 months. We're winding up with a E46 BMW 318 CI unit. They were on the shelf. Well, we want to run this car next year.
Apparently it's an old enough design, which you would usually think of as a bad thing, that it actually still has the adjustable cone springs that you can't get on newer cars. Like our RX-8, there's more limited tuning options than we're actually going to have with this BMW diff. Especially since most diffs for a production car are made for a much heavier chassis. The car sitting behind us is about 900 pounds without the driver. Having all that extra adjustability is really going to come into play and help us out. So we're super excited to be the first ones to ever run an OS Geiken and a B-Bon.
So for getting the front end to work, big ticket item for us is aero. We're going to have to rework the front mounting situation so that we can get a nice solid mount up there. Design a wing, planning on starting with a scan of the car and then pulling that into CFD to try and get reasonable clearances off the body surfaces. Not going to be modeling the underbody aero, at least not at first, but try and handle the wings.
If I have my way, I'm gonna have him make a mini wind tunnel and then 3D print a replica of our car for us to test aero for. I'm super excited about that. I think he's slightly less excited, but I'm gonna try to make it happen. So what you're gonna see coming up over the next few months, by the way, I'm due in April and it's about the same time the season starts. So we're looking at about 4 months to get this car ready to roll. We're gonna be doing some video features on how we do the DIY aero, the OS Geiken install, how we rework the cooling, along with probably some other just fun features that we'll save as a surprise.
Hope you guys enjoy. Don't forget to like and follow.